Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice. It's a brand new week, the sun's shining bright. A chance to cast your net, step into the light. Life's full of challenges, it's a winding stream. But with Coach Rice, you'll find your dream.
Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I am so excited today because I have a special guest and I cannot wait to dialogue with her. Erin Darden. She is an emotional intelligence and relationship coach. Was the amazing spin is she's an attorney. Erin, tell us where you're from and how did you embark upon this journey?
I am from Philadelphia. How did I get here? I got here through my own personal journey. I knew pretty quickly that being an attorney wasn't why I was created. And so I did a fast trying to figure out what my purpose was. And in doing that journey, I had to think about the things that I've had to learn myself, things that I've overcome, because a lot of times they say, right, you go through things not just for yourself, but to help other people. And so I've learned that I probably have been a coach my whole life. And when I was trying to figure out what type of coach I wanted to do, like I said, I had to think about my own journey, my own personal struggles, and communication was a big thing that I've had to learn. Believe it or not, I was extremely shy growing up. I wouldn't talk to people. Everything was a shrug. I don't know. And I for sure didn't know how to stand up for myself or assert boundaries without, being dismissive or being rude. And I got tired of waiting for people to treat me the way that I wanted to be treated. And so I had to learn how to communicate effectively, right? And then I went from one extreme to the next. I went from not speaking up to now I'm from Philly and I'm an attorney. And so you're going to hear what I got to say and I'm going to say it and I don't care how it comes off. But I've learned that that also was not effective. And so I had to learn how to adjust what I was saying and how I was saying it based on who I was talking to in order for it to be effective. And so when I was in my coaching program, there was a class on emotional intelligence. I had no idea what it was, but I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. And when I think about my own journey and discovering my own purpose and learning how to speak up and learn how to communicate, emotional intelligence played a big part of it, right? Me learning myself, knowing what is healthy for me and what's not healthy for me, and giving myself that confidence to assert myself in an effective manner without being, right, the aggressive Black woman, without being rude. It took a lot, right? I had to really get to know myself, get to understand what it is I was feeling and why, and what it is my emotions were trying to tell me. And once I was able to understand what it is that I was feeling and what I was learning, right? I'm like, oh, a lot of people need this, right? There are a lot of people that are in relationships that they know are no longer serving them, but they're still there. And so I've always wondered why, right? And that why is what really interests me and what I try to help people understand for themselves.
Wow. So for the sake of in giving the audience a little background about how do you define emotional intelligence? Because, I know what it is, but I want the audience to know as well.
So emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize, understand, and interpret your own emotions and manage your emotions, but also being aware of the emotions of people around you, right? Being mindful of how you impact those around you, right? And using all of this information to make your relationship healthier, right? To resolve conflict in a healthy way, right? Your emotions are there to tell you something. I know we've been taught sometimes that, right, ignore your emotions or being emotional is a sign of weakness, but it's actually the opposite. Your emotions are information. They're trying to tell you something. And so if you are able to understand what it is you're feeling, right, you know what you need to do from there, right? If you're angry, maybe a boundary has been crossed, right? You need to make an adjustment. Maybe you have unmet needs, right? They're trying to tell you something. And so emotional intelligence is understanding your emotions, what they're trying to tell you, and making sure you know what the next step needs to be.
Great clarification. Thank you so much. And so Do you still practice? You still practice as an attorney as well?
So I do. It's not my focus, right? I believe that this is my purpose, at least for right now. And so I spend a lot of time on this and helping women with their emotional intelligence, communication, conflict resolution, and connection in their romantic relationships. But I still do practice a little bit on the side.
Now, so what type of attorney were you?
Yep. So I've always done civil litigation. So I started out at the federal government representing the IRS. And I went from there to doing helping entrepreneurs, so business formation, contracts, intellectual property, and now I'm back in civil litigation, but more of a supporting role.
Oh, okay. And
Mhm,
so with you're a relationship coach as well, and emotional intelligence play a great role when it comes to relationships.
mhm.
So who who are your ideal clients?
Yeah. So I typically work with women who feel unseen or unheard in their relationships, women that keep having the same arguments over and over again without resolution, women that are hoping that things can get better, right? Or get back to the
Okay.
way that things were, just to be in a healthier space in their relationship. One, also a healthier them, right? Everything that I do, even though I work in the context of romantic relationships, everything I do was on an individual level. And so it's all personal development. And so the women that feel unheard, right, that feels misunderstood in their relationship, maybe
Mm,
like they have to walk on eggshells, right? They just understand,
yeah.
right? Why we keep having these same arguments, right? We used to be so much closer, or maybe, things were never as close or as good as it should have been. But I chose this. And so why have you chosen to be with this person? So that is who I typically work with. And when we work together, right, there's four main areas, right? The emotional awareness, working on understanding your own emotions and what they're trying to tell you, right? There's the communication, right? You can't have a healthy relationship without having those difficult conversations. And conflict resolution, again, right? Conflict is inevitable in a relationship, but it's how you deal with it that matters. You don't have to have a relationship with the yelling and the screaming and the hollering and the cussing, right? Those are actually signs of a lack of emotional intelligence. And so giving you the tools to communicate and resolve conflict in a way that will bring you guys closer together versus, creating a divide between you.
Yeah, that's truly, truly important. In your practice, what would you say that cause, do you when a person feels unseen or shut down or walking on eggshells, what have you found some of their belief systems are? That's the question.
So it is sometimes two parts to it.
Mhm,
And we are always going to start with you on an individual level. And so sometimes they automatically dismiss their own emotions, right?
mhm.
What I feel, it doesn't really matter. I'm making a big deal out of nothing, or this isn't worth starting a fight about. So they automatically dismiss what they're feeling. Oh, it's not that big of a deal,
Right.
right? And then there are also those that assume that their partner is not going to understand. So why bother? Or nothing is going to change. So why bother? Or I'm afraid of their response. So I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to sit here and suffer
Mhm.
in silence. Well, they think it's in silence, but it's manifested in other ways.
Right.
There are quite a few reasons why, right, they feel unseen and unheard, right? And then sometimes it is they're not communicating in a way that their partner can understand them. Sometimes we
So
assume
true. So true.
we expect our partner to know certain things or expect them to read our minds, and unfortunately that's not the case, right? We don't have that skill set to be able to read somebody's mind, and so sometimes we have to learn how to communicate all over again, even if you feel like the person should know or they're supposed to, or they,
Right.
right? Sometimes it's also a lot easier just to tell them again.
Yes, and a lot of times because they looking at it through a different lens,
Mhm.
you're not getting the same you get two different like communication
Yeah.
wavelengths that you're not seeing each other on the same page because you got too much other stuff involved and in order to communicate effectively, you got to really get an understanding of what the person needs. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that understanding is a big part of it. So I think
Hmm.
one thing that is a big thing that's missing from a lot of relationships is empathy, right? The
Yes.
ability to see things from other people's perspective. I'm not saying that you have to agree, but to
Right.
take the time to step out of yourself and to see things from your partner's perspective so that you have an understanding of where your partner is coming from. And I understand why it's difficult, right? If I'm upset, if I'm hurt, if I'm angry, I don't care what you have going on, right?
Right.
I'm hurt. What, who cares about you? Right? And so and that is human nature. But when you take the time to step outside of yourself, sometimes you see that it's not about you at all.
Exactly. You really do. I'm a relationship coach as well, and I've learned that you have to first gather, you have to get an understanding, but in order to get an understanding, you got to step into a posture of curiosity
Mhm.
and step back and say, wait a minute, let me talk to my partner and see what they what do they mean? Or when they say this, did they mean that? Get a clarification. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, get the clarification. I think another thing that I see a lot, people they want their emotions to be validated, which is nothing wrong with that. That's like a human nature thing,
Hmm.
but they don't approach conflict from the standpoint of seeking resolution, right? It's
Right.
I'm hurt, you hurt me, I'm right, you're wrong. And if you're going to have these difficult conversations and you are going to be able to use conflict as an opportunity to grow closer together, right? You have to take the gloves off, right? It's not you versus your
Yes.
partner, you and the partner against whatever the issue is, right?
Right.
You have to get to the resolution. I understand you're hurt, and hopefully your partner does validate that. But where do we go from here? Like, what's the solution? We have to get to a resolution. Some people stop at the "you hurt me, I'm right, you're wrong," and they stop there. But that
They
doesn't take
stop there. Hmm.
the resolution piece is very important.
It sure is. That's awesome. And so what does your onboarding process look like?
Yep. So my onboarding process is first I ask if it is just you individually or you and your partner. It's great when I get to work with both. Sometimes it's not the case, which is okay. And so if that is the case, right, what we do is there is an intake form that you complete, and I get a understanding of what it is you are facing, what challenges, right? Is it communication? Do you feel unseen? Do you guys keep having the same arguments over and over again? Is it how you fight? Is it what you're fighting about, right? There's different things that we need to figure out from the onset, right? And then we set goals. What is it that you would like to be better in your relationship? Right? What do you think would make your relationship healthier? Is it better communication? Is it your partner listening to you, validating how you feel? Do you need to reallocate how responsibilities are shared, right? So we identify what it is that you are struggling with. We actually get to the root of it because sometimes we just address the symptoms and not the real
Right.
issue. And then we set goals. And from there, I have everybody take an emotional intelligence assessment. And
Nice.
when they look at that assessment, what we can see is how their level of emotional intelligence is contributing to the current condition or the current status of their relationship, right? Most times, both of you are playing a part in the way that things
Yes.
are, right? And you may not realize it, which is what I'm here for, to help you recognize that it's
Yeah,
not
because it
just
could be
right.
complimentary. Yes.
Yes, people come and say, my part of this, he that, but I want to talk about you
You're right.
and the part that you were playing in this. Because for one, you are the only person that you can control.
Right.
And so even when I am working with only one person, we still can work through, right, the part that you play in this, but then we talk about how do you make adjustments for your partner. So if you know your partner is like this, what does that mean for you? And how do you need to, make adjustments or don't, right? You also have that choice. But
Yes.
we talk about when I don't have the other partner in front of me, right? We talk about
Hmm.
ways that or tips. I give them tools to go back. We'll try this between the two of you, or okay, if this is something that is the issue, right? This is what you guys need to talk about, and right, this is my recommendation in terms of how to bring it up, or maybe you need to try this and not that. So
Hmm.
Like I said, we always start with what are the challenges, what are the goals. We talk about your level of emotional intelligence, and we get to work from there.
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. So what do you have anything coming up in the future that you're excited about?
Absolutely. So I have a membership community, the EQ for Love membership community. And this summer, we are doing a self-aware summer. So I know most people usually take
Okay.
summer off or vacation, but this is the time that we are really going to dig in. And we are going to have a self-aware summer for 4 months.
Okay.
I'm going to get all in your business for 4 months. And we are going to identify areas of growth, right? So we're going to work on your emotional awareness. What are your emotions trying to tell you? We're going to work on your emotional triggers. We're going to identify, what areas or what emotions maybe you struggle with expressing in a healthy way, right? Communication is going to be a big piece of this, right? What's your communication style? Does that work for your partner, right? Or not even just your partner, because even though I work with it in a context of romantic relationships, it works for any relationship. So
Right, right,
I do
right.
have women that are single in my membership community, right? But we are working on them becoming a better them so that they're ready for their next relationship.
Right, right, right.
Whether you're in a relationship or not. But yeah, this summer, I'm getting all in your business. I am stepping on your toes because we're growing, we're healing, and we are going to be a better person first and then a better partner second.
Also, so how do people do they sign? Is it free? Do they sign up for it? Does it cost? What's the plan?
Yep. So this is only taking place inside of my membership community. My membership community is a monthly subscription, so it's $49 a month. So if you
Okay.
head over to the website eqforlove.com, there is a tab that tells you all about the membership community, what you can expect. It will probably be a lot more. It will be more involved this summer since we're doing like a whole self-aware campaign. Usually we do just a weekly class and then two like guided sessions where I pick a topic and we come in, we journal, and we kind of work through whatever the topic is. But
Nice.
this summer is going to be a lot more structured as I am getting in your business and areas of growth. So when you join the membership community, there is a questionnaire for you so I can learn more about you, right? What your goals are personally, what I can help you with, how I can support you, right? This community is for you to grow individually. And so, of course,
Okay.
I have ideas, I have tips, I have tools that I can use, but it's most effective when you also share what it is you need to help with, because then it's even more effective for you. So that is what I'm excited for. We are actually starting June 1st. So that is coming up. So enrollment is still open. Well, you can join the membership community at any time. But that is what I am working on right now.
All right. That's exciting. Do you have any books that you're thinking about writing or
So there are a couple of books on my computer. There is one around communication, and then there is one around emotional intelligence in the concept of romantic relationships in general. So I have been working on them for some time now. So at some point they will be done and out and all of that.
Isn't it funny how, as you see clients, you start developing so much information, you want to put
Mhm.
it down on paper. So you're like, oh, this could be a book.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I found that. I found that too. I'm working on some stuff myself. But yeah, so that's great. If you had one tip or wisdom that you want to shout out to the audience, what would that be?
Just one.
Yeah,
If
I know you have a lot.
if I
Well,
only
I give you one in emotional intelligence, and I give you one in relationships. How about that?
okay, so two. So the first thing I would say is that your emotions are valid. How you
Mhm.
feel are valid, your experiences are valid. Don't ignore your emotions because they are trying to tell you something. And if you aren't listening to your emotions, right, you're missing out on vital information that your body is trying to tell you. So that would be the first thing that I have to say, right? And that is regardless of man, boy, girl, yellow, purple, black. Everybody experiences the same emotions, whether or not you are in tuned enough or aware enough
Mhm.
of your emotion to identify them and understand them is a different conversation. But every human being experiences the same emotions and the same
Yes.
right? It's just a matter of, are you paying attention and do you understand them?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that everybody's emotions are valid. The second thing in terms of relationships, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, I tell people all the time, relationships are optional as an adult. And so anybody you allow to be in your life should be a positive addition.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. That's pretty cool. I like that. So, yeah, because when you think about emotional intelligence and your emotions being valid,
Mhm.
wouldn't you say that your body give you symptoms when you don't express your emotions?
Absolutely. Right. And there has been studies about how if you ignore your emotions, right, it can manifest itself in physical ways. Right. There's been
Mm-hmm.
tons of studies about the links of a lack of emotional intelligence or ignoring your emotions and not understanding them, or ignoring those things, how it manifests. And that makes sense, right? If I am experiencing, let's say, sadness, right, but I'm ignoring it, right? That sadness may be trying to tell me that I feel unsafe. And so
Mm-hmm.
if I am put myself in an environment where I feel unsafe, okay, maybe a day or two, cool, but for months and for years, that is going to start to have a physical impact on you, whether it creates some level of anxiety, right? But it's going to manifest itself physically. Even
Yes.
if it's just like a common cold, right? If you are stressed out for long enough, you're going to start to feel sick in other areas.
Yeah, because it does definitely suppress your immune system. Your emotions do too. And
Yes.
I've seen where where people may throw up, but it's not because they're sick. It's because their body is saying, I can't stomach
Mhm.
something. I've
Yep.
seen that happen where they went to the doctor and can't really don't know why they throwing up, and
Mhm.
the body is like, you there's something going on. And I've seen that happen
Mhm.
where I'm like, it's not organic, but it has to be what is it that you can't stomach?
It's something, yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
remember when
And we did get to the bottom of it. It was like, wow.
right. And I remember when I was, maybe this like the first or second year that I was practicing law. And so I was working a lot of hours and I was back and forth from DC to Philly. And I remember twice I left work. I'm like, I don't feel well. I need to go to the doctors. They did blood work, ran tests, and the doctor came back like, go to sleep. There's nothing wrong with you. And I said, no, but like, I feel like I have a fever. Like, I feel terrible. And she
Mm.
said, yeah, you stressed out. Go to sleep. What? That's it? And that happened twice. And that was also a sign that, okay, Erin, it's time to start paying attention to you and
Mhm.
your body, because you can't keep living and doing things for other people. And so that was also part of it. So yeah,
Wow.
it's there to tell you something.
Yes, your body speaks to you without you even, it speaks to you loud too. So
Yes,
we just have to pay attention.
yes.
And so how can the audience reach you, even though I am going to put links
Mhm.
in
Absolutely.
the
So I am on all the social media platforms. It is my name. So Erin F. Darden, Erin, F as in Frank, Darden. So that's my name on TikTok, Instagram. And then my website is eqforlove.com. So if you have questions, want to figure out how I can help you, I do still work with people one-on-one, even though work mostly in the membership community because it allows me to help the most amount of people. But I am still open to helping people one-on-one or them and their partner, in case they need that, additional support. But if not, the membership community is open. And like I said, we are getting ready for the self-aware summer so that we can really get in your business, identify your areas of growth, right? And work on being a better person.
I like that. I like that. So, thank you so much, Erin, for coming on. I really appreciate hearing from you and what you do. And I love that you do the emotional intelligence and relationship together because it's so crucial, and relationship with yourself, others. and God, actually.
That
It definitely works in all areas. And it's so awesome to hear that you finally found your calling. So congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Praise God.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
You found your calling. Ain't nothing like finding your calling. I tell you, I went through a whole bunch of career paths before I found mine. So,
Yeah. You will, everybody
so
will
that's
get there. If you
every,
pay attention to yourself, you will understand.
yes, you can definitely get there. Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for the wonderful advice you gave the audience. And to the audience, if you find that this was helpful, please do share and subscribe so you can see more people that come on. I always have amazing people like Erin on my show to give you the information you need, and check out her event that's coming up this summer and her membership. Check out her membership page. You'd be surprised how helpful it can be. She's ready to help. She's open to getting your business. I know it's uncomfortable, but be okay with being uncomfortable because that's what growth lies. So we thank you so much for listening, and we are signing off.
Thank you for having me.
We'll heal every heart. So join us now. Let's make life suffice. Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice.